Hey everyone. We're still going on with the Freelancers Summit 2023, and super excited to have gone this far. Thank you for joining us. This next topic is particularly super interesting to me because I always say, in any economy, there are three main things. There are a lot of things, but there are three main things that I think are super important, which is communication, transportation, and finance. And on this topic, we're going to talk about finance, exploring the future of finance in Africa. And with me here, I have amazing colleagues. With Peter, he's calling in from Kenya. We have Charlene, she's calling in from DC. You're in DC, right?
I am, Washington, DC.
Great, perfect. Charlene, you can start by introducing yourself and Peter, and then we'll get into the conversation.
Okay, thank you so much. Hello, everyone. My name is Charlene Fadirepo. I am a Bitcoin activist and consultant based in Washington, D.C. Before I moved into the Bitcoin space, I had about 15 years of experience in the traditional finance world. And now I work full-time leading a digital assets consultancy called Mango Digital Strategies. And what we do is we help companies future-proof their growth through Bitcoin and learning about those corresponding technologies. In addition, I am the founder and host of a podcast called the Bitcoin in Africa Show. And in that show, we spend time amplifying the innovators, the fintech leaders, and the entrepreneurs that are driving this incredible Bitcoin revolution that we see across the continent of Africa. So look forward to being here with you today and look forward to learning.
Great. Thank you, Charlene. Peter?
Hi, everyone. My name is Peter Okwara. I'm a software developer and consultant in the Web3 space in Kenya. I've had lots of experience around the blockchain space. I worked for the IOTA Foundation where I was doing work around supply chains and exportation of flowers from Kenya to the UK. And also before that, I was part of EOS Nairobi, which is part of the EOS blockchain, where we launched our first block producer node in Kenya. And besides that, I also run other things. I'm also currently running a company called CareerGo, where we automatically generate cover letters and CVs for job applications. Pleasure to meet you.
Thank you, Peter. So I guess I'll start with you. My question, I guess the question that I always have from people is around, right now we have fintech unicorns in Africa. I think we have 3. But the fintech space is still shaky. It's still difficult to make payments. It's still expensive. So from your point of view as a developer, what do we need to do more, to get to the point where, more people are included in the financial ecosystem, as far as someone like my grandmother can be able to just send money to, I'm in Zimbabwe, she'll be able to send money to Nigeria easily, send money to you in Kenya easily. So what are we supposed to do as freelancers and as entrepreneurs and developers to get to that stage?
Okay, thank you so much, Tongai. I think at the moment, as Africans, I think we can try and build more products around this space. I think at the moment, I've seen a lot of evangelism around this is what blockchain can do, this is what crypto can do. But unfortunately, I'm not seeing much financial products coming from us. So I think if we can, even if it's bootstrapping, not depending on funds, if we can bootstrap the funds and build these financial solutions and also create awareness across the country so that a grandma in the village is aware of these financial tools, I think that would be really helpful. And that can also drive economic growth within Africa.
Understood. And you mentioned, blockchain and cryptocurrencies. I'm a Bitcoin maximalist. Like I've always said, there's going to be so many things that are going to come out there, but this technology and this crypto has stood the test of time. It has had so many setbacks, so many people. And the thing, like with crypto, or any currency, bad things can happen in any currency. But unfortunately, with crypto, if anything bad happens, it's huge, and that's unfortunate. But I guess my question to Charlene is, how do we better protect people to learn more about this technology and be cautious and know that it's a technology, yes, but at the end of the day, we should be careful who we talk to. We should be careful how we share, what we share, and basically be secure if we decide to get into this digital space, which is supposed to give us more inclusion in the financial sector.
Yeah, so I think that's a great question. I think that the best way to protect people is to let them know that they have the power of choices. So a lot of times when we talk about crypto, when I'm talking about crypto in Africa, I'm only talking about Bitcoin, like you, Tongai. People don't think that they have viable, trusted sources, but they do. For example, BitNob, that is a Nigerian founded and led Bitcoin financial services company. You can buy Bitcoin from BitNob today. If you don't like BitNob, you could try Helicarrier. If you don't like Helicarrier, you can try Bitcoins. You can try Patricia. You can try Montancura. There are a handful of viable Bitcoin platforms that are safe, that are reputable, that are African-led and run, and they're functioning today. So I think the biggest thing we have to do is educate people to say, hey, you don't have to use Telegram. You don't have to use WhatsApp. Those ways to buy Bitcoin are not safe. And they should be highly discouraged. You have platforms, you have folks that are committed to your ability to learn and also use this functionality. And I just want to go back to something that Peter said. Africa, and as the audience may know, Africa has one of the most fragmented banking systems in the world. But that is the opportunity, right? That is what sets Africa apart. That is why Bitcoin thrives and will win in Africa. Bitcoin is kind of getting in place of that fragmented opportunity and providing the payment rails that every African country has always needed. Not tomorrow, not 5 years from now, but right now. Everybody that's listening to this that is here in the room, you can buy Bitcoin safely right now, probably in your African country. So all the exchanges that I mentioned, they may not work in your country, but keep trying. And just that last point, scams are always a huge challenge in Africa, but all over the world.
All over the world.
All over the world. It's so important to say that in every market too, right? There are significant numbers of scams in the stock market. But the way you fight them with reputable sources of credible information and encouraging consumers to not trust and always verify every time.
Got you. I always say, Africa is in a unique position because sometimes we can skip technologies or we can skip the hype. Because, there's a time where, ICOs were all over the place. They blew up. It was a bubble. It's no longer going on anymore. And, not many African companies or startups participated in that space. So now we just basically skip the whole, crazy moment that could have made a lot of people lose money. But that's why I guess I want to talk about Web3. Right now, there's ChatGPT. So basically, people stop talking about Web3 because there's this.
That's true. Distraction.
But what I think is, if a technology had its fundamentals right, if a technology was real to begin with, it will still remain and there'll still be useful products that come out of it. So I guess this is my question to Peter, like, what do you see Web3 becoming, say, in the next year, 2 years, particularly in the gig economy ecosystem in Africa?
So I think the next 2 or 3 years, I think development on Web3 is going to be quite easy, because I've had friends of mine, like I have a friend of mine who's building summertime finance, which is also like a DeFi protocol of his. And he made a statement where like he wanted to hire like a mathematician to kind of design some kind of formula for his DeFi yields or pools. But when he tried using ChatGPT, he was able to get what he wanted for that particular use case. And I think that developing Web3 products, whether it's in the Web3 space or the Bitcoin space, is going to be much easier. Even for freelancers, even I have experienced that, because again, I think AI is just providing this information out there, and it's making it easier for people to develop these products.
Got you. That's really interesting, because I think the other day I was listening to this song that allegedly was I think it was Drake, and I was like, that really sounds like him. And one thing that came about, like, I think we're in a space where we're going to not know what's real and what's not, what's human created, what's AI generated. And the thought I had was like, blockchain has been talking about this forever. Like, you can actually, verify some of these things using blockchain. But, I guess that's an AI conversation. The question I have to Charlene is around, digital currencies and Web3, that intersection. Like, do you see more and more people keep on creating tokens, keep on creating central bank? I know you've been in the regulatory space, central bank digital currencies, or it's now a matter of using what has survived for this long and working with that, and even they talk about stable coins and things like that.
Yeah, so this is an interesting conversation, and there are several African countries that have either launched or are thinking about launching central bank digital currencies. I know in Nigeria they launched the Naira last year. I think the Central African Republic was thinking about a CBDC. My concern with CBDCs is that I just believe that it will create more of the same, high concentrations of power among a select few. And that's troubling for me. The other problem, I believe, in CBDCs is that, you don't fix this purchasing power issue. When it comes to many African countries, their currencies have been strategically devalued over time. So, and that shows up for everyday Africans by inflation. In Nigeria, inflation is 20%. In other countries, it's 50, it's 60, it's 70%. A CBDC doesn't fix that. It's just a digital version of an existing currency that is not serving the people of many African countries. So I have concerns about a CBDC. I think a better option is Bitcoin. Bitcoin, although Bitcoin is seen to be very volatile, Bitcoin gives you that purchasing power and gives you that sovereignty and that ownership. I will also say, the point on stablecoins. Stablecoins are very interesting. Stablecoins are very, very prevalent, used in Africa. Many businesses are using stablecoins to guard against the volatility of their currency. So I will say stablecoins are definitely currencies to watch. I would say Bitcoin and stablecoins. Beyond that, I get very concerned when I hear a company creating an Africa token or an empowerment token, because in my experience, what I found is those are tokens that are created to make the founders rich and everyone else poor, right? And the problem with those tokens is that they're highly centralized. They're controlled by the founders. And at any point in time, if those founders decide that they want to pack up and go home, they will, and they'll take your money with them. So, I would just guard against all of these coins that are supposed to create empowerment. Stick to the basics, stick with Bitcoin, take a look at stable coins. And outside of that, I'd be very, very weary and concerned.
Got you. It just gave me the question around security. And, in Zimbabwe, we do have EcoCash. I know in Kenya, there's M-Pesa. And I always say those products have been successful because they work.
That's right.
You know, no one, wants to think, how secure am I, or it works. It has been working for my friend and my friend's friend, so I'll keep using this. So I want to ask from the perspective of freelancers receiving payments to Peter. Is it common? Do people actually prefer to get paid through M-Pesa or bank, or what are the preferences, and what would you recommend?
So in Kenya, what I've seen is, most people like receiving their cash in M-Pesa. M-Pesa has its limit. I think it's 140,000 Kenya shillings. That's the limit, which is like 1,000 USD or 1,200 USD, around there. So
that's
yes,
per month?
Is that a daily limit?
Yeah, it's a daily limit.
Okay.
Yeah, despite M-Pesa being like really fast, the daily limit is around like 1,000 USD, which is kind of curtails people from doing much. But yeah, most people prefer using M-Pesa. And also there was this, most people also like using this peer-to-peer trading websites, where like you can trade your Kenya shillings for Bitcoin or the other cryptocurrencies like Ethereum and things like that. So yes, to say, in terms of receiving cash, I don't think people mind receiving it in Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies, so long as it's like a stable cryptocurrencies. Also had stories of people receiving it in stable coins. So so that's what I'd say for freedom.
Gotcha. I think that's really interesting. For Zimbabwe, EcoCash used to just be local currency, but recently they just added USD.
Interesting. Yeah.
So because people prefer getting USD, that's it. I know in South Africa they prefer getting the rand, because if you have the USD, you won't be able to use it anyway. So I guess that gets me to my next question to Charlene around how do we expand access and economic opportunity through whatever method that currently works. I know, as a freelancer, most of the times you don't have access to things like loans. You don't have access to, if you want to, get a mortgage, healthcare. So how can we, advise, not advice, this is not financial advice. How can we recommend, based on our personal experiences, on how to expand access to economic opportunities as a freelancer?
Yeah. So, I would say if you're a freelancer and, your first order of business is to really understand what's happening, and digital assets are changing the world. They're changing the world. And I'd say that Africa is one of the biggest markets for digital assets and cryptocurrency. So know that. So if you're trying to figure out where the opportunity is, consider that space. And I just want to say, you don't have to be a developer. A lot of people say, oh, I'm not a developer, so I can't offer anything. And there's so many Bitcoin adjacent roles that are viable: graphic design, copywriting, all of that. And so I think, to answer your question, Tongai, what can you do to expand opportunities? Put yourself in a position of power through education, learn about what's happening, connect yourself with resources so that you can build your skills. In the Bitcoin space, Kala.dev, so KALA.dev. They're an amazing program that is in place to design and train the next generation of Bitcoin and Lightning developers. There are lots of Bitcoin communities where you can learn about Bitcoin. Feel free to check out my show, the Bitcoin in Africa show. Our website is bitcoininafricashow.com, where you can start to learn about Bitcoin. But decide that you want to be a leader in this space, and start to take steps to do that. The wonderful thing about Africa is that there's so many highly skilled professionals. Make sure that you're in a position to take advantage of this wave. And as a financial professional, I don't think I've been more excited about any financial technology in my entire career. So that should be a red flag or a green flag that it's coming. You didn't ask this time, but I have to tell you. So I was at the Africa FinTech Summit last week. Huge, this is the 9th annual Africa FinTech Summit. It was held in Washington, D.C. There were 300 people there. The number of U.S. companies, MasterCard, Visa, Google, talking about their investments in Africa. Incredible. The level of State Department presence that was there. So the U.S. State Department, I understand there might be skepticism there, but what I was looking for the number of executives and the commitments, the millions of dollars of commitments to not just do aid, but to focus on trade. And so this is coming. Make sure you're well positioned to take advantage of it. And you do that by making sure that you're set up on platforms like AfroBlocks, making sure that you have fine-tuned your skill set. I know that Peter mentioned that he has a company that can help you with your resume. Get those things in place so you're ready. This is one of those things you don't want to get ready. You have to stay ready. So when the opportunity comes, you can take advantage of it. And one last thing, one of the things that hurts Africa as a continent is in Nigeria, what we call Japa. That is when you leave your country to go overseas. What we're seeing now is you don't have to leave, which is beautiful. You can have a wonderful life. You can have a robust career and have the level of financial prosperity that you want, and not go through these freelancing opportunities. But you only get there if you're ready. If you're on AfroBlocks, if you have the skills and you're looking at the broader macro trends that are positioning Africa for success.
I really like the phrase that you just said. I'll probably make a t-shirt out of it just so you can stay ready.
You have to don't get ready, stay ready, because the wave is coming and you don't want to get left behind. And you also don't want outsiders to take advantage of these opportunities.
Understood.
You have to be in position.
Yeah, we always say, our platform, Pan-African freelance talent. So if you have a problem with that, we could, that's like our fail safe. If we say that, people either work with us or don't, but we're okay with that. I guess, closing out, I want to give you guys time to tell us, what you're working on and what, something about to launch, something that's about to happen, let the people know. So Peter, a minute or two to talk about, what people can expect from you, where to find it, if it's a website, if it's, social media, where they can follow you or check for updates or anything like that.
Yeah, so I think I'll just start with socials. So if you want to follow me, on Twitter, I am Peter Okwara. On LinkedIn, I am Peter Okwara. So from time to time, I normally write articles on Web3 and DeFi and Ethereum. So you can go in there and keep a lookout for any articles I'll release. Yeah, at the moment, working with AfriBlocks on a contracting gig. Yeah, so guys, get on there, put out your profile, so that you can actually get jobs and even be paid in cryptocurrencies. Yeah.
Thank you. Charlene.
Yeah, so I'm very active on Twitter. So on Twitter, you can find me at Char Fadirepo, so CHR Fadirepo. You can check out my podcast at bitcoininafricashow.com. We are on Spotify. We're also on Apple Podcasts. So if you really want to learn more about the exchanges that are strong across Africa, that's a great place. We also, on that website, we also have resources for people to learn about Bitcoin and learn about how they can play in that space. And if you're a company that's interested in learning more about how to use Bitcoin in your business, my consulting firm website is mangodigitalstrategies.com. Check that out if you want to talk more about how you can add Bitcoin to your business or think through the strategic implications of crypto. I'm happy to do that. So thanks. I look forward to hearing from all of you.
Great. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate you, taking your time out to talk to our audience. And, please leave comments, ask questions in the comment section. Still going on with the Freelancers Summit 2022. And our theme this year is freelancing, entrepreneurship, and beyond. Talk to you guys in the next panel. Bye.